All right, so we are talking about 5.6 transformations today. You will need to pause your video and write down these vocab words. There are 3 on the front and 1 on the back. So a transformation is going to change a figure's shape or size. A translation is going to slide a figure without turning it. So a translation would go like left, right, up, or down. Reflection is going to flip a figure across a line to create a mirror image. So we're going to be flipping across the X and Y axis. And then a rotation turns a figure around a point, like a certain number of degrees. Okay, so the first problem, we're going to translate this triangle 3 units left and 4 units up. So we're literally going to do exactly like it sounds. We're going to take each point and we're going to go 3 left, 4 up. 3 left and 4 up. So point A, go 3 left and 4 up. And then this would be our point A prime. And then point B, same thing. 3 left and 4 up. This would be point B. Point C, 3 left and 4 up, would be C prime. And then I'll fill in what my triangle would look like. What's wrong? All I did was slide the whole thing 3 left and 4 up. Like 3 blocks left, 4 blocks up.
Yeah, I know that, but like what I'm saying is like, oh, never mind.
Okay, so if we look at, try another one. If we look at the next one, we're going to translate this 2 units right and 3 units down. So I need to take every point, go 2 right and 3 down. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is a reflection, and we're going to reflect across the X or the Y axis. In order to reflect across the Y axis, you multiply the X coordinate by -1. To reflect across the X axis, you multiply the Y coordinate by -1. And this isn't something you're going to have to memorize. I will give you a little piece of paper on your test that has these little hints on them. So this isn't something I'm expecting you to memorize how to do. I will give that to you on your test. So we're going to graph the reflection of quadrilateral ABCD across the X axis. So in order to do this, we have to take our Y value times -1. So what we're going to do first is we're going to list out ABCD, what the coordinates are. So A, the coordinate for A is 2, 4. And then B is 4, 4. C is 1, 1. And D is 4, 1. So I'm going to take my Y value times the -1, what does taking anything times the -1 do? Puts a negative in front, or if it was a negative, it's going to make it positive. So my A prime is going to become 2, -4. B prime will be 4, -4. C prime will be 1, -1. And D prime will be 4, -1. Okay, so then I'm going to graph this. then when I draw this in, you should be able to see how that reflected across the x-axis. Practice the other axis. Okay, so next we're gonna graph this quadrilateral across the y-axis. So in order to do that, we take x times -1. So I'm gonna write down all of my coordinates first. So A is -4, 1. B is -2, 1. C is -1, -2. And D is -4, -3. So then I have to take all of my x coordinates and change the sign. Yes, so A prime is going to become +4, 1. B prime would be +2, 1. C prime, +1, -2. And D prime would be +4, -3. Okay, so on this next part, we're going to talk about rotations. Rotations involve degrees because rotations involve, if you think of like a circle. So if you, and again, you're going to get this chart on your test, you're not going to have to memorize this. So if we rotate by 180 degrees, you multiply both coordinates by -1. Okay, so if you think of a clock, like up here on the wall, if I start at 12 o'clock and I rotate 180 degrees, what time am I going to?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay, now you guys hopefully have heard the words clockwise and counterclockwise.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So clockwise means like you're turning right, because that's how a clock moves its hand. Counterclockwise means you're turning left from noon or from 12, because that's opposite of a clock. So when you go 180 degree rotation, does it matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise?
No.
Do you still end up at 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Yes. So when you turn 180, you don't have to give a direction, because 180 will end at the same place no matter which direction. Okay. But if I ask you to turn 90 degrees, you have to give a direction, because 90 degrees clockwise would go from 12 to what? What would 90 degrees be? 3. Clockwise would be from 12 to 3. If I go 90 degrees counterclockwise, I'm going from 12 to 9. So it does make a difference which direction you go in. So in order to do 90 degree clockwise, multiply the x coordinate by -1, and then you flip your x and y coordinate. To do 90 degrees counterclockwise, you're multiplying the y coordinate by -1 and then switching x and y. Okay, so if I started at 12 and asked you to go 360 degrees, where would you be? 12, because that would be the whole entire clock or the whole entire circle. Okay, so we're going to look at graphing the rotation of triangle ABC 90 degrees clockwise. So here's how you would do that. You first need to take your x value times -1, and then you need to flip your x and y value. So we're going to start by writing down our coordinates. So A is -4, 3. B is -1, 1. And C is -4, 1. So we're gonna take our X value and change the sign. So we're gonna get 4,3, 1,1, and positive 4,1. Yes.
Yeah.
And so the last one is flip your X and Y. So A prime
It's 3.
would be 3,4 now. B prime would stay 1,1, because it doesn't matter if you flip it. And C prime would become 1,4. And then I'm gonna graph that. Okay, so if you notice, it just took a 90-degree rotation. So a graph is made up of 4 quadrants. So it makes sense, right? Like, what is a fourth of 360? 90 degrees. So if you're just turning one 90-degree rotation, you shouldn't end up in a quadrant that isn't attached to the quadrant your figure started in. Does that make sense? Like, if I were to turn counterclockwise, I would have ended up down here in quadrant 3, or I would have ended up in quadrant 1 for clockwise. I probably should never have ended up in quadrant 4 if I was doing this only 90 degrees. Okay, so let's do the next one. We're gonna rotate counterclockwise 90 degrees. So I need to take y times -1 and then flip my x and y. So again, the first step is to write down all of my coordinates. So coordinate A, the coordinate for A is 4, 4. B is 4, 1. And C is 2, 1. So the first thing I'm gonna do is multiply my y value times -1. So 4, -4, 4, -1, and 2, -1. And so then I need to flip-flop my x and y. So A prime is gonna be -4, 4. B prime, -1, 4. And C prime would be -1, 2. And then I'm gonna graph it. Okay, so for your assignment, you're doing page 229 and 230, and I do have graph paper for you, because this involves graphing.